This is a brand new Volvo designed to make you completely forget about the Tesla Model Y, the all-new Volvo EX60. This is built on the latest generation of their Scalable Product Architecture. It's got some really impressive technology, some really impressive specs, up to 400 miles of range. The most powerful version will make 670 horsepower and do 60 in 3.8 seconds. And it now has Google Gemini built in, so you can have a conversation with your car. Today we are out in Sweden, behind the scenes with Volvo at one of their facilities, getting to check out the new EX60. We'll take you on a tour of the exterior, the interior, check out some of the details and get our first impression of the new EX60. In terms of the specs, we have three different powertrain levels, the P6, the P10, and the P12. The P6 is the entry-level single-motor rear-wheel drive, making 369 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. Then you step up to the P10, which goes dual-motor, all-wheel drive. It's kind of the sweet spot in the lineup. 503 horsepower, 524 pound-feet of torque. And then the P12, also dual-motor, all-wheel drive, the most powerful version, 670 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. That's the one that will do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Now, different trim levels have different battery pack capacities, but in terms of the range, the P6 will do up to 310 miles, the P10 will do up to 320 miles, and the P12 with the largest battery pack will do up to 400 miles. Your range rating will depend on your wheel size choice. The larger the wheel, you lose a little bit of range, so 20-inch, 21 and 22-inch wheels are available, but those range ratings are with the smallest wheel for each respective battery pack size. Now, as an EV, charging is also obviously very important. This is now built off a 800-volt architecture, so really fast charging is possible. Every battery pack trim level will be able to do 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes. For example, the P10 all-wheel drive, kind of that sweet spot in the lineup, can add 173 miles in 10 minutes, which is pretty impressive. You also get a 19.2 kilowatt onboard charger, and the EX60 is the first Volvo to ever be built on the North American charging standard, aka the Tesla style port, right? So NACS will be the native port style on the EX60. Now let's go and check out some details on the exterior and interior. All right, now my friend Drake is holding the camera, the one and only Drake Moscow, and we're going to take you on a up-close tour of the EX60 exterior design. Check out the interior, play with the screens, and just overall get our impressions on this all-new Volvo EV. So we have the Thor's hammer style DRLs with the individual segments making that T-hammer shape. The high beams the actual headlights are below here, so unlike on the EX90 where they kind of open like eyes, these are fixed. But it's a evolved styling. I personally really like the look of the Volvo EVs. It's like familiar, but way more modern looking. What do you think, Drake?
Yeah, I like it. I think I prefer the Thor's hammer on the gas ones, the kind of just the outline of the shape versus this kind of pixelated version they have on their EVs. I like the little
rectangles of light, but it's definitely smooth and streamlined like you expect in EVs. We've got active grille shutters here for efficiency, the Volvo logo here, and there is a front trunk which is not power opening, so we'll have to show you that in a moment once we get to the inside. Very sleek proportions overall, the shape, right? The roofline tapers back, so aerodynamic efficiency is obviously very important on EVs, and this is a ground-up EV platform. It's not a modification of anything else. This is SPA3, SPA3, so their latest generation. SPA1 was 10 years ago. XC90, like a bunch of stuff was underpinned with this.
First started redoing things from the Ford era.
Exactly. And then SPA2 was actually pretty recent. That was EX90, ES90, and this is now SPA3. So they're pretty quickly advancing forward, but that also means that they're able to push the wheels further out, so extend the wheelbase, and this is on they call it cell to body, which essentially means the battery pack is more of a structural element, which A, gives you a flat load floor, which we'll see on the inside, but B, makes it more efficient. They said they could lower the weight, is 70 kilos-ish saved from doing cell to body, which is becoming more popular for these EV platforms, especially when they're designed from the ground up. And this also features mega casting, which is not some fancy form of like Google Chromecast. It's a manufacturing technique where instead of having, call it 70 to 100 individual components that are extruded or machined or whatever to build up, for example, the rear, which is what this is, the rear subframe area, the rear floor. It's one gigantic cast component. There's actually one over there we'll show you in a second, and they can just stamp it down. It takes a lot more pressure, but it saves complexity, cost, weight. It's actually a really cool form of manufacturing, and this features mega casting. Another little aerodynamic trick is the door handles here to keep the side of the body, the doors, really nice and sleek, right? We've got these little wings instead that have a little bit of illumination there and an electronic button on the back. So you press that, that's how you open the doors. It reminds me, the Mustang Mach-E also has a similar kind of thing, but it means no door handles on the actual door itself.
Increases aero.
Yep, a little more sleek. And it's pretty cool, actually. A little piece of light right there. I think I like it more than the inset button thing, but definitely a really unique, different thing. And it keeps the door really sleek. And overall, when you look at the body from the side, it also tapers in, right? From here, you can kind of see that body line angle in. So aerodynamic efficiency is definitely really critical on these things. Also, I really like the frameless side view mirrors.
Yeah.
It's a really cool look. So on one single piece where the mirror and the housing are kind of all integrated. And of course, this has cameras all over it for all the various driver assistance functions, convenience functions.
Frameless windows as well.
Frameless windows and a quick peek at that interior. We'll get to it because the interior is really, really cool. Frameless laminated glass, so try to help with that wind noise. The rear is also frameless.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Very premium.
The cool vertical lighting that then comes down here, says Volvo inside. I mean, it's unmistakably a Volvo. It just looks.
It does say so.
Okay, yes, that is also true. Thank you, Drake. This is the valuable insight we're providing. One cool thing is the stack of badges. So EX60, that's the model. P12 all-wheel drive, that's your powertrain level, right? So you can have P6, P10, P12. Ultra is the trim. They'll have 3 trim levels, Core, Plus, and Ultra. Ultra is the top of the line. The Core ones are coming later. Those are kind of the entry level, more basic ones here, but the Ultra means it is ultra loaded with all the nice features. We've got the black plastic cladding on the lower side with all these little dashes. Also reminds me of the EX30. But we can also open the trunk. I think since we're back here, we should show that off because there's some fun innovations here. First, tow hook. There's a button here to press, and integrated tow hook will pop out, which is
snap.
Yeah, the way it clicks into place sounds really solid. So you can use this thing to tow a little trailer or something, whatever you need to put back there. Some people like putting their bike racks, you know, those little adjustable things. But it's kind of cool, the power retractable / extendable tow hook. I think on the previous one, you had to do the final step by hand, but this is fully powered. Then it hides away, right? You don't have the ugly tow hook cover.
Clean.
Yeah, it doesn't interrupt your aerodynamics or visually. Now on the inside, we've got flat load floor here, but if we fold this up, it's a 60-40 split floor, and they have this really deep storage bin, right? Whether you've got groceries or a potted plant or something that you don't want to roll around your trunk. This is actually really, really cool.
It goes all the way down to like the base of the car, it seems like.
Which is really cool. And if you're not sure what you can fit in your EX60, they give you a nice diagram. Will it fit? Some dimensions, and then, can you see it on camera? Yeah, we've got guitar, suitcase, stroller, dog, golf clubs, baby seat, skis, plant, and filing cabinet or something. Print.
Is that
a bin? Anyways, this is a fun little Easter egg kind of thing with some dimensions. But this is a very interesting usage of the rear trunk space. This cargo cover was not held in place, but it is designed that you can also hide it underneath here.
Love that.
If you don't want it in the way, there, it's very clean. They also told us there's a roof rack that will fold apart and is designed to be able to also hide inside. So if you don't need your roof rack, because it does interrupt your aerodynamics, you can also fold it away and put it inside your car, which is pretty cool.
Very Scandinavian.
Very, very. Can I put this? I'm not. Okay, we're not going to spend the time doing that. But anyways, it goes it goes up there. You can also fold down second row seats. 60-40 split with the press of a button.
Really slow. I'm sure that's some kind of safety feature.
Yeah. Does it go all the way flat?
I thought it did last time, but
I think the headrest. There we go. Headrests were slightly in the way. That's pretty practical.
Yeah, it's definitely. You could fit a bike for sure.
You could fit a lot. Dude, I was moving like this big like dresser thing and the EX30 and it fit. I was shocked at how much I could fit in the little baby one. This is obviously even bigger. So that's a quick look in the rear cargo space. Go ahead and close the power tailgate there.
I think the rear end is definitely the biggest departure from Volvo's typical design language. It's just a little more unique, a little more angles going on with the taillights and flatter sheet metal, especially on the tailgate itself.
It tapers in really aggressively. You can see it in the rear, how it kind of angles in. It's a mid-size crossover. That's technically the segment. And it gives almost like between crossover and like taller wagon vibes to me. I think it looks really, really nice. I'm a big fan of the styling. All right, let's hop inside up front. I am now Alfred. Hello, Alfred. This is a 15-inch curved OLED screen, but it's curved this way. So it's concave, right?
Convex.
Convex?
Concave forms a cave.
Oh, yeah. Convex is vexing like you. Just kidding. But it actually angles away, which is very, very interesting. And it's also gone landscape orientation, unlike the EX90, which is vertical oriented. And this OLED screen looks very nice. And the graphics are also really, really nice. The visuals are nice and it's really fast responding. Just look as we tap through various things. You can adjust your climate stuff. Now, this is not full production, right? This is a pre-production model we're checking out. So not everything is fully functional, but we can still show you a couple things. Before we get any further, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are going to be available. I know, Drake, you're celebrating, right? Because one of his big, and I'm sure a lot of people, pet peeves is GM EVs don't have CarPlay. Yep. And a lot of EVs don't have it, but you can still get it here in the EX60. But at the same time, you have the built-in Google Maps navigation. You can use that here. You have Apple Music available for direct streaming because this does have Dolby Atmos, and right here, Google Gemini. Unfortunately, again, pre-production one, it's not fully ready for us to play around with, but the intent is for it to be more conversational. So you can talk to your car, it can become your best friend. But seriously, like let's just say you drive by and you see an Italian restaurant. You can go, hey, tell me about that Italian restaurant, and the potential is there because they have the processing power. So this got an NVIDIA chips, it's got Qualcomm CPU for both visual graphics and also the computer processing power to support all the driver assistance stuff, all the user interface kind of stuff, and this kind of functionality. So the new, they call it their superset tech stack, which is the hardware, software underpinnings that they'll build everything off of, is a new generation. Will have some serious processing power because these cars are getting really complicated and they require a lot more of those resources to provide all these fun features that we want to play around with. So Google Gemini is a big piece of news. What else about in here? They've also kind of redesigned some of the contextual menus that update, but this quick shortcut allows me to adjust my mirrors, my steering wheel. I can change the electrochromatic roof shading. So let me show that real quick. It's currently on opaque, and there's clear, and there's opaque, and there's clear.
Definitely nice to see that they're offering that.
Yeah, so no physical shade, but it has that similar to some other EVs. Steering wheel has changed. That's big news, right? This steering wheel is actually really, really small diameter squircle, so flat bottom, flat top, but it actually feels really small for the size of the vehicle, so I'm sure that'll make it maybe feel a little more nimble, maneuverable, but the bigger news is physical buttons.
Yeah, and they're not gloss black.
They are not. Oh, actually, there's not any gloss black in here, is there?
There's a little bit I was noticing
back there.
But, right there.
But compared
other
to
than that,
yeah, like this is textured wood trim, like a dark gray. This is cloth.
For a brand that had been gloss black galore for a long time, they've definitely learned that. I think a lot of people don't love that, and like this is a really nice satin finish.
It's like a satin gunmetal, but physical buttons. Even the toggles for your drive select, right? Your little lever and your turn signal, that's gone to like a satin gray finish. We have a new virtual cluster up there, the driver display. And look at those graphics. That's really, really nice. It's larger than on the EX90. And instead of a heads-up display, they just push the screen further forward.
Noticeably higher quality, too.
Very. Like, those are very nice visuals for what's the pilot assist driving stuff right now. Got different drive modes, range, standard, performance, off-road. Suspension, you can adjust the suspension, adaptive dampers on the P10, P12. The entry-level P6 will simply be passive, right? Just a mechanical system. Now, the Cross Country does have air suspension. We'll check that out at the very end of the video. So adaptive dampers on this thing, the new steering wheel. What else to highlight on the interior? Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Actual physical volume toggle right here, which is also very nice. It's like illuminated crystal.
Love to see that.
Forward and back track, and then lots of interior things to play around with the storage. So kind of like on the EX30, your cup holders can hide or pop out. We have this giant center storage area, which has some cloth on the bottom, stuff rolling around. Your glove box is actually in the middle now, so that moves down there. USB-C charging ports, wireless charging pad, and this deep tray here. So lots of cool storage in the middle. I like that this, you can still hide stuff and close it away, the little moved glove box. The problem here is like if you put something valuable, you don't want to just leave it in the wide open. So that's the current center console arrangement on the EX60. We have heated and cooled seats up front, heated steering wheel, so those nice luxury features. And it's a really cool light gray interior. Volvo just does the Scandinavian minimalism really well. We were talking about earlier how if you show the door panel, it's really cool how it's all monochromatic, right? Yeah. The speaker grills blend in very nicely, lots of leather with the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins sound system. And we also have window switches. Woo! That, like, you might be like, why are you celebrating window switches? But we have 4 distinct window switches here, which is so nice because on the EX30, they got rid of all 4. Instead, you have 2 window switches in the middle, and you have to press a button to determine if those window switches are opening the front windows or the back windows.
And EX90 also only had 2.
Oh, you're right, yeah. So back to 4 window switches, which is a good thing, and also a little pull-up lever for the open the door, right? That's both electronic and mechanical. So they built in that mechanical override in case of an emergency into that same switch. So usually, sometimes they hide another little switch somewhere else for the mechanical override, but it's all in the single switch there, which is again nice gray gunmetal. But yeah, that's up front, some of the cool details. Let's hop in the second row because it's actually pretty nice back here too. We have the fully flat load floor because of that cell-to-body technology. So essentially that like skateboard-like platform. And we noticed as soon as we got in, there's a ton of space underneath the seats for your feet.
Yeah, lots of foot which really does help allow you to push your feet closer to the seat in front of you.
Yeah, and I'm 6'3". The front driver's seat was where I would be comfortable sitting, and like there's plenty of knee room here. Leg or headroom is actually pretty good too. Like it feels quite nice, and they'll actually recline. Buttons. Yeah, we've got little buttons right there, and you can actually recline your second row seats slightly. They're heated, a lot of space. It's definitely nice, and we have, what are they called? Multi-adaptive seatbelts, which is Volvo's next gen of seatbelts. Volvo invented the seatbelt here for safety, right? And safety is a huge focus. The way these work essentially is instead of 3 like load levels for how much the seatbelt is stopping you in the case of an accident, they're going to start out with 11. But the point of it is going to evolve. They're going to get more data. And ideally, what they're doing is using the occupant sensors and the weight sensors to determine how big and heavy of a person you are, and also what's happening. Is it an accident where you're hitting a tree? Anyways, whatever the accident is, they're trying to optimize the amount of tension so it's not hurting the occupant. Because sometimes if a seatbelt is like too strong, right, you can actually get hurt more than you needed to. I don't know if I explained that properly.
Yeah, it's basically just smart seatbelts that are adapting to you and the situation, and they're going to get even smarter because they're going to learn, and that will be pushed via over-the-air updates.
What Drake says.
The part I love about the back seats the most are just how big the windows are. The greenhouse is really large, and these are quite large rear windows, and it's really a nice airy space, especially then with the glass roof as well.
Yeah. Now pricing is not 100% official yet. The P10 all-wheel drive is not well equipped, very well equipped. Around $60,000. And the things they called out were the surround view camera, the 21 speaker Bose sound system, a lot of really nice features. Yeah, the pilot system for your driver assistance for around $60,000, and that's mid-tier. So a P6 with single motor rear wheel drive, smaller battery pack, also the core trim when they come out with that will probably be even lower price. Well, actually, probably guaranteed to be lower price point than 60 grand. Now this one here is a P12 Ultra. What do you think, speculating 80s?
Yeah, definitely in the 80s, because I had an XC60 recharged last year on loan. That was $76,000, so this is definitely going to be a little more than that.
Yeah, so, but that's still a, I think, very competitive pricing spread. Currently, I am very impressed with the styling. I think it looks really, really cool. The interior brings some noticeable improvements from an ergonomic space standpoint, and definitely buttons, right? That makes both of us very, very happy. The tech is also impressive. A lot of it's protecting for future over-the-air updates. All these cars in general now require so much processing power, and as the technology advances and new features are added, they're essentially just stocking them up so they can handle whatever comes over the horizon to throw at it. So it's going to have that functionality. The specs are pretty impressive. Last thing is just to drive this and see what it's like. And having spent time with EX90 and EX30, pretty excited. I think it'll be cool. Anything to add, Drake?
No, I like it. I think it's really good. XC60 is their best-selling car, so this will hopefully become their best-selling EV. It's a solid start on the features and just the looks.
Before we move on to the cross country, we have to do the interior ambient lighting, and let's show the lighting animation.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so we just turned the lights off in the studio to show you the interior ambient lighting. It's currently set to a new one called Forest Glade, and it gives you this dappled like leaf effect like you're in an actual forest, which is really, really cool. You can see all across the back seat, and you get the glow in the door pockets, up front too. Oh, no, it's called Forest Bath.
Forest Bath.
Interesting. Would you ever take a bath in a forest?
I never have. I don't know if I ever will.
This is Archipelago, which also they keep the kind of the pattern in the back for all the different lighting options.
I like the two-tone though, or oh, maybe it's. I guess it's
maybe it's still changing.
Yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
They got a little bit of two-tone there. There's Midsummer. Northern Lights.
That's pretty cool. They're very subtle. They're very Volvo.
Very classy minimalist, right? It's not RGB light streams everywhere.
No. Moonlight. Peaceful, and Autumn Sunset.
Autumn Sunset. So do we see an option to full customize? I don't think so. That's the brightness.
You can change the brightness.
Yep. Those are the ambient lighting settings, which is pretty cool. Yep. All right, now we have to show the welcome animations for the headlights and taillights.
Wow, it's fast.
That is really quick. That's cool. So that's the goodbye sequence. Now
I actually
let's check
appreciate the speed. I think some OEMs...
They take too long.
It takes like 10 seconds to run through the whole thing.
Because we always have to demonstrate it, right? So like we're sitting there hitting unlock and lock, and it's waiting and waiting. That's pretty cool.
I like that, yeah. Very simple.
That's fun. It just adds a little bit of theater to the welcome as you approach your vehicle at night. And now we have the EX60 Cross Country. The Cross Country treatment is the more adventure-leaning, slightly more off-road rugged version. And I love how much differentiation they give it. You have a unique front fascia, which is mainly concentrated on the lower half in terms of styling changes, but different from bumper treatment. You get the matte black plastic on either side. Here you get the Cross Country lettering. And in the middle, this is an actual stainless steel skid plate, which looks and feels really nice. That's actual proper stainless steel. Now, as a cross country, you also have air suspension. The vehicle itself is 20 millimeters higher in terms of the ride height. And then with your air suspension, you can raise it another 20 millimeters, which is about 1.6 inches total. And it does look visually a bit more rugged. It helps with the wider stance and also the black fender cladding here. The wheels are either 20-inch or 21-inch wheels, and they look like the EX30 cross country wheels, just scaled up slightly. You also get the black treatment here, the softer touch plastic. This is also a unique paint color. This is frost green, only available on the EX60 Cross Country. And coming along to the side, this is one of my favorite touches in terms of design. That's a stainless steel Cross Country badge here on the back. That is super, super cool. Around back, we have more Cross Country lettering with the black plastic here, and then another stainless steel skid plate, which is pretty cool. You still have the same tow hook option. And because we have adjustable height air suspension, there's a button in the trunk for you to raise and lower it for ease of loading stuff in. Now at launch, this is only available with the P10 all-wheel drive powertrain, but you can get the Cross Country in either the Plus or the Ultra trim, so you have two different options. That's like a dark blue. This material is the same thing you find on like Nike and Adidas running shoes, paired with some of the leather here, and the dark blue finish is so unique. Even this wood trim has a blue hue to it. So that is unique for the Cross Country. And I love a nicely executed cloth interior. It definitely fits the more rugged adventure personality, easier to keep clean and things like that, right? If you're going adventuring or something. So the interior does get a slightly different treatment, not huge, but this exclusive color is pretty cool to see. Also, we need to show the front trunk, so we forgot to check that out when we were over by the other EX60. It's not full power release, so you have a little toggle right there, but you can put a good amount of stuff in here. This yellow line is to make sure you don't load too high because you don't want to damage your hood when you're closing it, but you get some emergency kit stuff here, little storage cubbies, So there is a front trunk on the EX60. It's just a manual release. So there it is, a look at the EX60 and the EX60 Cross Country. What do you guys think? What do you think of the styling? Which version would you prefer? What about the specs? I am definitely pretty impressed. If I were to order one today, I think I would go for this EX60 Cross Country. The P10 all-wheel drive is a nice sweet spot in the lineup, but the P12 with that 400 miles of range and 670 horsepower does sound pretty cool. Now that one's not available as a cross country, so it's other more sleeker iteration, but this is a really cool entry from Volvo. The XC60 is their best seller, so this kind of fills the electrified version in the lineup, right? That's the role for this thing, but really cool styling, some seriously impressive tech, some really good specs. I'm excited to see these things and finally try one out and drive it. What do you guys think? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.